This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I'm here with, dare I say, our old friend, Stephen Beauchesne, from up in Van Cleek Hill. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, Jamie, but don't call me old.
Well, you're compared to me. So we are doing this as a kind of retrospective on Beau's. We haven't done an interview together for quite some time, and I remember doing an alley interview with you probably
That's
around
right.
about 7, 8 years ago. And Beau's has definitely come a long way since then. There's so many things I need to ask you about. For you, in the years between the last interview and now, what have been the most important things that you have learned?
Well, I like to think I keep learning. Mostly, I'm learning that the people around me are a lot smarter than I am, and I continually learn to be impressed by kind of the everyday things that people do to make the world better.
Now, speaking about making the world better, Beau's has certainly been doing a few of those things. And let's start off with your project in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Sure. So this is an ambitious project that we've launched, where we're hoping to start Rwanda's first craft brewery, owned and operated by women. And Rwanda's got a really wonderful history post the massacre that happened there.
Yeah.
The way they've decided to focus on hope and in particular focus on women's empowerment as their way to change their history, their course in history, has been really, really inspiring to me. So right now, as a country, they've got more women that are elected than any other country in Africa, and I would say more than most countries in the world.
Really? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and they've done all sorts of really interesting projects, like having women-owned and operated cooperatives to harvest ingredients, harvest fruits and vegetables, and farm, basically. And they're just doing so many progressive things as a country that it made it really interesting to have a project there. So we started working with a wonderful entrepreneur named Fina, and we had a Kickstarter program where we raised enough money to purchase bottling equipment, and we got another brewery manufacturer, Newlands or NSI, to commit to building the brew house for us as well. And so we've got all this momentum. We have had some setbacks. I think anytime you're working with that much distance in that many,
Of course, yeah.
with that many obstacles, there's going to be some. So we're working through the challenges there, but we're quite hopeful that within the next 5 years we will have a brewery up and running. And the really interesting part about the impact of this is obviously a women entrepreneur at the head of the company, but we're hopeful that as much as 70% of the ingredients can be locally sourced ingredients, all purchased from women-focused cooperatives.
Very
So
cool.
the impact on this is huge, and what they found in Rwanda is, not to be crass about this, but you give a male more disposable income, they will spend that disposable income on themselves. You give a woman more disposable income, they will spend that on their community. And so by investing in this program, it's really investing in the families of Rwanda, and building up. All the cooperatives offer healthcare and education as well to their employees. So the impact of the project could be far bigger than just the beer it produces, and it's perfectly in our wheelhouse because we know how to make great beer, and working with the group in Rwanda, it's allowing us to sort of use what we're good at in a way that's going to have an impact that is far beyond our normal ability to have that impact.
Have you had the opportunity to journey down there yourself as of yet?
Yeah, I've been down twice with two different teams from the brewery to focus on different things. Both trips we were kind of centered in Kigali, which is where the brewery will be. But in our second trip, we were able to go right into the countryside and learn how to make traditional banana beer and sorghum beer. And it's something they've been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years there. And that, just as far as an experience goes, is just amazing, because what they're able to do with the beer they're making is tremendous, and they don't have any of the efficient equipment that a North American brewer would be just taking for granted.
Another thing I've been reading a fair bit about over the years is your kind of employee ownership program, which I find a fascinating thing. Please tell us a little about that, because that's obviously a big part of what you're doing these days.
Sure. I think a big part of that is it kind of goes back to starting the brewery. So I started the brewery with my dad, my mom, my sister, best friend from school, and our brewmaster, and we always had this feeling like this was the friends and family, and we wanted everyone in the brewery to feel like family. And that first group we offered shares to, and then when we started hiring people because we were having some success and growing, that program had ended, but it always felt like there was something missing. When we'd talk to an employee and say, we want you to feel like your family, and we really did, but at the end of the day, some people that we wanted to feel like family had shares of the company, and other people that we wanted to feel like family did not. And so it felt like I owed something to them to have the opportunity to participate in the success of the brewery. And at the same time, we had legacy investors that put some money in day one, and because we've been growing so fast, it's not like we've been giving out dividends and making them rich. So some of them have gotten to their 70s, and they're like, hey, is there a way to get some money out of this one day? So we thought that this would be a really interesting way to replace our legacy shareholders who were looking for an exit. So
you had the employees buy the legacy investors out.
That's right.
Right.
So we basically replace those legacy investors with the best possible people who are going to care the most about the future for the brewery. Yep. And it's been this really nice process. It's been a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. As a business owner now, I've spent 12 years dealing with things like, this is what it's like to have shares in a private company, and this is how you work with investors. But for a lot of our employees, they've never owned shares in a private company before. So the day that we announced it, obviously everyone was overjoyed. Yep. And then there was a little bit of a hangover period that kind of developed where we had to explain, well, just because you now own some shares in the brewery doesn't mean you can, roll in at noon and leave at 2. There's still, everyone has a job to do here. And at the same time, if you put in $400 into the employee ownership plan and decide, a year later that you want to remodel your bathroom, you can't just call up one day and say, give me my $400 back. You've purchased shares in a company, and it's hard to get those back out. Yeah. We've got a process for it, but it's really hard for a lot of people to understand because
it's more of a long-term investment.
It's a long-term investment, and it's not the same as putting money in a bank. And that's typically hard for people to grasp until they start doing it. And we made the mistake of thinking that everyone knew as much about this as we did, and we just have to kind of say it once and everyone will get it. So we've really learned our lesson, and we're doing a lot more to educate our staff into what it means to own part of a company, and what ownership means, and what the responsibility for that is, because it's not all privilege. There's responsibility that comes with ownership. And long term, this is going to be the defining thing for the brewery, but it was not nearly as easy or straightforward as I thought it was getting into it. But neither was starting the brewery.